If I were moving to Seattle today, we wouldn't live where we live now. We'd make some very different decisions. Hey, I'm Matt Goyer, Seattle area real estate agent. Helped lots of people buy and sell homes over the years here. Everything from young professionals to families to even a lot of grandparents looking to move to be closer to their kids who are having kids. So in this video, I'm gonna give you my honest take on a bunch of different neighborhoods. Let's dig in. When we first moved to Eastlake, I'll be honest, I didn't love it. We were coming from Capitol Hill, and Capitol Hill is just full of restaurants, shops, bars. Everything is just a couple minutes away. It's got a lot of energy. It's got a strong vibe. Eastlake is much quieter, or at least it was much quieter when we moved here. But the reason we moved to Eastlake is because it's one of the few neighborhoods in Seattle that has floating homes. And in my opinion, our opinion, Eastlake has the best floating home community there is. And so that's why we ended up in Eastlake, but we came to love it. It's got just enough shops and restaurants. It's got a Starbucks, it's got a couple coffee shops. It's got a little market called Pete's Market that you could walk to or boat to, which I love. And so that stuff is great about Eastlake. But now that we're a little bit older, our priorities have changed. So we've got school-age kids now. They've grown up on a couple different floating homes over the years. Love the lifestyle, especially in the summer. Lots of swimming, lots of boating. You can't beat it. But with a couple school-age children, even though our school is just 2 blocks away, it's a wonderful walk. So that has led us to question the floating home lifestyle and whether it's right for us with school-age children. So if we were considering other places to live, what would we be considering? So before I dive into a list of neighborhoods that we'd consider, let's talk about the criteria in which we would use to evaluate picking a new neighborhood if we were to make a move. So the first criteria would be, does it have a yard? Now, of course, we live on a floating home, so any yard would be an upgrade from what we have now. But given that a lot of Seattle neighborhoods have 4,000 to 5,000 square foot yards, and then you plop a big house on it, it doesn't leave a lot left over for kicking a soccer ball around. So we'd be looking for a neighborhood where the yards are gonna be a little bit bigger than your average Seattle neighborhood. Now, the second thing we'd be looking for would be schools. With school-aged children, having good access to either a public and or private school is a must. When we first moved to Eastlake, we didn't have kids, gave no consideration to schools, but we got lucky. We have a great school just up the street from us, just a couple blocks away, Tops, which is K through 8. Both our kids are going there. It's been awesome. But if we were considering a new neighborhood, we would have to pick a neighborhood that had either a great local public school or had easy access to a good private school. So the third thing we'd be considering would be the amenities of the neighborhood. Obviously, we were spoiled on Capitol Hill. It's like got a walk score of 100. You got everything nearby. Eastlake, little lower walk score, but still we've gotten used to being able to walk to Pete's Market where you can get wine, eggs, milk, all that kind of stuff just a couple blocks away. We got a Starbucks a couple blocks away. We got local coffee shops. We got some restaurants for taking the kids for burgers, that kind of thing. And that'd be really hard to give up. So in considering new neighborhoods, we'd want a neighborhood that checks a lot of those amenity boxes where all that stuff was either a short walk, short bike, or at least a short drive away. And then our final criteria would be water. So once you live on the water, especially on a floating home, it's hard to go back to living on land. So we would need a neighborhood that had easy access to the water, whereas on the shores of Lake Washington, fortunately, Lake Washington is huge. There's a lot of good neighborhoods that border it, and that will meet a lot of our other criteria. So what neighborhoods meet that criteria, at least in our mind? Well, it's a list of neighborhoods that I never would have considered when I was younger. But now that we're older, school-age children, all that stuff, the best laid plans can change. So let's run through them. So the first one, it's the only true Seattle neighborhood on our list. If our list were longer, I'd have more Seattle neighborhoods, but we only have 3 items here. So if we were to pick one neighborhood in Seattle, it would be this neighborhood. It is close to U Village, where we already spend a ton of time. Our favorite sushi restaurant is there, Bamboo Sushi. I love that this neighborhood has a beach club and it offers swimming, sailing, paddleboarding. So if you don't live on the water, you've got easy access to all those water activities, which is awesome, especially during the summer. And you're still pretty close to the core of Seattle, but you're far enough removed that it feels very grown up. So which neighborhood am I thinking about? Laurelhurst. Laurelhurst has got big lots, beautiful homes, great proximity. Okay, second one. So we never envisioned living on an island, especially when we were younger. They're just too sleepy. But now that we have kids, don't go out really at all, living on an island could make a lot of sense. And so the island we're thinking about here is Mercer Island. It sits just between Seattle and Bellevue. It's really well connected. It's got access to the freeway, both with cars, and then starting next year, you're gonna have light rail. So it's got great connectivity. It's got excellent public schools. And it's sort of perfectly positioned. As long as you're not too far south on the island, it's easy to get to both cities. And Mercer Island is also home to a lot of Northwest contemporary style homes, which we love. But for those who love traditional homes, don't worry, it's got lots of traditional homes too. Okay, so last on the list, I never imagined myself to be an East Side person, but the East Side has growing appeal, especially as you get a little bit older. So like Mercer Island, this city, it boasts great public schools. It's got huge yards, beautiful homes, lots of waterfront, and its downtown looks nothing like it did when I moved to Seattle 20 years ago. And in 10 years from now, it's gonna be unrecognizable once again. And the cool thing is, starting next year, it's gonna be connected to Seattle and Mercer Island via the light rail. So the city I'm thinking about here, or the area, neighborhood, it's Bellevue. And never in a million years when I was younger would I have considered Bellevue, but as I said, things can change. Now, if I were in my 20s again, just starting my career, looking for something completely different than what we are living in right now, what would we be looking at? Well, I imagine I'd be drawn to a neighborhood that had creative living spaces like lofts or live-work setup. They'd have a diverse range of houses, apartments, condos, everything in between. And I'd want something that had starter condo options ranging from $300,000 to $400,000. I'd also prioritize access to culture, nightlife, parks, co-working spaces. Each area I'm about to discuss ticks all those boxes. Downtown Seattle offers everything you could possibly imagine. Professional sports like hockey, football, baseball, and soccer, just not basketball yet. And tons of music venues, from intimate clubs to large arenas. The arts and theater scene here is thriving. Younger buyers are also seeking easy access to the outdoors, from numerous parks to the water. You got easy access to Elliott Bay, the saltwater, all that's got to offer. And then under a mile away, you've got Lake Union, paddleboarding, kayaking, sailing, so many options within such a short amount of space. So what are the lifestyle first neighborhoods, not necessarily the cheapest, that match this criteria? Well, first up on my list, if I were in my 20s again, moving to Seattle or just starting my career, would be Capitol Hill. This is where I lived in my 20s. Today, it's a little less funky and artsy than it used to be, but it's still a very diverse neighborhood with tons of restaurants and bars, lots of different housing options. It's also incredibly well suited for commuting. No matter where you work, thanks to its proximity to I-5, 520, and I-90, and the fact that it has a light rail stop, you can easily walk to South Lake Union, drive to the east side, and starting next year, take the light rail to the east side. On Capitol Hill, you'll find everything from starter condos under $400,000 all the way up to grand old mansions overlooking the city. Okay, so next up on the list is Denny Triangle. And when I first moved to Seattle 20 years ago, Denny Triangle then looks nothing like it looks now. And that's thanks to Amazon. Amazon came in, made it their headquarters, and it has totally changed in the last 20 years. Almost all the one-story buildings are gone, and they've been replaced with 40-story high-rises, home to condos, apartments, offices. It's home to the major tech companies. It's a modern, bustling area. It's got great proximity to Lake Union for outdoor activities. Also got great proximity to downtown, Capitol Hill for your nightlife, shopping, restaurant type needs. And another great thing about this neighborhood is it's got a lot of the newer condo buildings where we've helped lots of buyers. I'm thinking condos like Spire, Nexus, Greystone. And these buildings are great because they also have great co-working spaces. So when you're working from home, they have a space outside of your condo where you can hang out and get some work done. For number 3 on this list, we're gonna mix things up. We're gonna jump across the water, and I'm putting Bellevue on the list. And the reason why is if you're working on the east side and you want a shorter commute, or you prefer a more refined downtown and restaurant experience, something a little more big box, less boutique, then Bellevue might be a good fit. Well, in the past, it felt very challenging to get to Bellevue by transit or to go from Bellevue to somewhere else by transit. With light rail coming in 2026, that's gonna totally change, and Bellevue is gonna be really connected to the greater Seattle area. And just like Denny Triangle has easy access to Lake Union, well, in downtown Bellevue, you've got easy access to Lake Washington via Maidenbower Bay, which has an amazing park on the shores of Lake Washington. All right, so that was a look at your 20s. Now fast forward 10 years, you're in your 30s, you're in your early 40s, no kids, you just want a great place to live here in Seattle. Well, what's your criteria? Well, for starters, one, these people want urban living. They're not going out to the clubs and bars every night like they used to in their 20s, but they still prioritize having everything nearby, super walkable. They want to start the day at a really nice gym You want to unwind at the end of the week at a really nice restaurant. Number 2 on the list is parks. So if you don't have kids, you likely have a dog. Seattle's filled with dog people. So you're going to want a park that's a couple blocks away, so it's easy to integrate into your lifestyle. You don't want to travel far for that. And number 3, you want it to be easy to get around. Yes, you want everything within walking distance, but there are times when it's not. And so you want to get to that stuff relatively quickly. And so that means you want a neighborhood that's got easy access to light rail or easy access to the freeways. So you can go hang out with your friends or escape to the mountains in the winter or escape to the water in the summer. For the first one, let's start with an easy one. It borders downtown. It's got a ton of restaurants, and it's home to the waterfront, which has just gone through a nearly $1 billion transformation. So the neighborhood I'm talking about here is Belltown. You could live in some amazing lofts. We help some buyers with some great ones in Belltown, or you could live in a high-rise with amazing views like the Emerald, or get lucky and score a sky loft like this at Nexus. We helped a buyer buy this last year. Truly amazing, one-of-a-kind space. If Belltown isn't your jam, there's a few options that are similar, like Denny Triangle, South Lake Union, Capitol Hill. We have lots of very urban neighborhoods here, each with its own personality. Okay, so let's mix things up and talk about a neighborhood that has a lot of diversity now, but can grow with you as you grow up. Say you want to put down roots in this neighborhood, you could start with a townhome or a condo, and if when you have kids, move up to a great single-family home. This year, we've helped 2 different couples buy nice, big, single-family homes on Queen Anne, and then help them sell their urban condos in Belltown or their townhome on Capitol Hill. And they love that Queen Anne offers walkability. It's close to downtown. It's got good parks for dogs and kids. And if Queen Anne isn't your jam, well, there's a lot of other good options out there, like Magnolia or Whittier Heights. Those would be other neighborhoods I'd consider that are pretty similar. Now, those first 2 options and their alternatives can be a little bit spendy. What if you're on a budget, but you still want a neighborhood or area that meets all that criteria? Well, let's talk about 2 different options here. So the first one is Columbia City. We did a deep dive on this neighborhood in this video. I'll link it up below. I love Columbia City. It's got easy access to the light rail. It's got a super cute walkable downtown core, and it's got a huge park and play field. Now, my other recommendation would be to check out White Center. White Center is hip like Capitol Hill was like 20 years ago. It's a more affordable neighborhood right now. You can get into a single family home with a yard for anywhere from like $500,000 to $1 million. And if you're within walking distance of that downtown White Center, that's where all the hip new restaurants are opening, because restaurant space there is so much cheaper than in the neighborhoods closer to Seattle. So if we fast forward again, well, then you're at the stage of life where you're settling down, you got kids, but we already talked about at least the neighborhoods we would be considering if we were looking to be moving, as a young couple with kids, school-age children, kind of a thing. So let's fast forward again and talk about the empty nester. So we're seeing a big trend of people downsizing and moving to Seattle, whether it's to be closer to family, their grandkids are here, their kids are here, whatever, or they're escaping climate change. We've met a lot of buyers who are looking to escape Florida. They're tired of hurricanes, would rather live in Seattle with our more moderate climate, or you just want to downsize from your large suburban home to something more walkable and lively. We've been helping a lot of these buyers find the perfect fit here in either downtown Seattle or downtown Bellevue. So the top of the list for empty nesters is the lock and leave lifestyle. Many empty nesters travel extensively or they own multiple homes, making condos or townhomes incredibly appealing. The beauty of a condo is ditching the maintenance worries, though you have HOA dues as the trade-off. But with these high rises, you've got enhanced security, allowing you to be away for months with peace of mind. Now, the second thing they're looking for is a little surprising. Given the age of this demographic, they've been very dependent on cars for their entire life. But we're finding that many empty nesters are wanting, at this stage of their life, a really walkable lifestyle. When we're helping these buyers, we're often helping them calculate the walking time to places like Pike Place Market, the New Waterfront, or Jazz Alley. Those are the top 3 places that I calculate walking distance for this group of people. The other thing that empty nesters are looking for are amenities. They want to live in a high-rise that has great amenities. The ones they ask the most about or really want to check out first would be the gym. They really like working out, and they want a great place to work out in that has all the right gear. A lot of the newer condo buildings absolutely check that box, like Spire, First Light, Insignia. All those buildings have great gyms. And then they're also asking about the pool. If they have grandkids, they'd love to have their grandkids come hang out at the pool. And finally, they're interested in all the other usual amenities like the rooftop decks, the dog run, that kind of stuff. So those are the amenities inside the building. They're also thinking about amenities in terms of what's outside the building. We already talked about the importance of being close to like Pike Place Market for groceries, that kind of thing, Jazz Alley for entertainment, but also high on their list is they want to be close to go see a Seahawks game or a Mariners game. They want to be close to Climate Pledge so they can walk to a concert or to a hockey game. They really are thinking about the whole package, not just an individual building and what it offers, but everything around that building as well. Okay, so first on the list is Denny Triangle / Belltown. Now, we've had this on the list for a couple other different groups, so don't need to repeat how amazing and walkable it is. But why is it really appealing to empty nesters? What's drawing them there? Well, a lot of empty nesters are buying at Spire. We've helped 11 clients here so far, a bunch of them empty nesters. They love the views. It has amazing views. They love the gym. The gym is on the top floor of the building. Great views of the Space Needle and Lake Union while you're on the treadmill. It's hard to beat that. Then the other buildings they're drawn to are buildings like the Emerald, which practically sits on top of Pike Place Market. So super walkable, killer views of the Sound. It likely has the best views of any of the newer condo buildings in Seattle if you want to see the Sound and the mountains. And then they're also drawn to some of the older buildings like the Escala or Cristala, both built about 20 years ago at this point, but still great, well-run buildings. Okay, so second on the list for empty nesters thinking about downsizing, but who don't want to make this big jump across Lake Washington, is downsizing from their big suburban home and moving to downtown Bellevue. Now, Bellevue is a natural choice. It's got a lot of walkability, great proximity to the water, as we already talked about. And for empty nesters, they love the new condo building there, Avenue Bellevue, which is really made up of two towers. The Estates, the more luxurious tower, and then you have the residences, the little more affordable tower. The Estates, it sits atop an Intercontinental Hotel. They have this great pedestrian walkway that's going to be filled out with shops here, hopefully really soon. In terms of other options, well, the top of their list is likely going to be One Lincoln Tower or Bellevue Towers, both a little bit older condo buildings, but the benefit of those buildings are going to be that they have really generously sized floor plans, which empty nesters are used to big homes, so that's a good fit for them. Now, these buildings are a little bit older, but they're well run, and they've done a good job recently updating their amenities to make them more competitive with the new construction like Avenue Bellevue. Okay, and finally, I got the surprise one for you. It's Lake Union. It's where I live. Now, why would this neighborhood be popular with empty nesters? Well, it's got great proximity to downtown, but without that downtown feel. In a neighborhood like Eastlake or Westlake, they have a diverse range of housing options. You got condos, you got townhomes, you got floating homes, and in Eastlake, there's 100 single family homes. So you could live in a single family home here and be just 10 minutes from downtown. Why are floating homes popular with empty nesters? They offer that lock and leave lifestyle very similar to a condo, and they foster this great sense of community, and they allow for easy enjoyment of hobbies like boating, paddleboarding, kayaking, swimming, sailing, all that great stuff. Now, for those who love the idea of lake living but prefer something simpler and maintenance-free, there's also some great townhomes on the shores of Lake Union, many of them with elevators, great for aging in place, and those can be an excellent choice here too. So that's a lot of options, and clearly there's no one-size-fits-all answer, but hopefully it gives you an idea of where your lifestyle could go here in Seattle. So you're thinking about moving here, you're thinking of switching things up, it certainly can be overwhelming to find something that's gonna fit your lifestyle, but that's where my team and I come in. We've helped lots of people navigate decisions like these. Happy to chat. My contact info is below. Feel free to reach out. We'll listen to what you're looking for. We'll come up with some options. We'll go see some homes and help you find the perfect fit. And if you want to know if buying a Seattle condo is a good investment or not, check out this video right here.